All right, so last week we talked about our hair. We talked about how everyone has a different pigment, and the pigment determines your hair color. There are 4 pigments: black, white, black, red, yellow, and brown. And those pigments determine your hair, eye, and skin color, but we focus mainly on hair. We talked about how the hair was created by the Lord, how it works. The blood will give food to the roots. The roots will grow, and then it pushes out of our skin, and that's where the hair starts to grow. That's why we have hair outside of our head, because of all of that happening. Okay, so this week we are going to move on to page 12, and we will talk about our eyes, which are another important part of us, and how God made the eyes special. He did it for a reason. When he created our eyes, he did it all purposely. Everything he made about the eye was, it was a design. It was made the way that it is. Okay, 1 second. All right, so our eyes. So the eyes are the light of our body, which is true because we can see because of our eyes. So our eyes are one of God's wonderful gifts to us. Our eyes tell us what is going on all around us. We use our eyes to read, to work, to have fun, and to find our way around. I would say every part of us is important, but our eyes are probably especially important because we're able to do a lot of things because we have sight from our eyes. So when God created our eyes, he did not put them too far apart, and he didn't put them too close together. He put them just in the right place on our face so that we can see both far away and we can see things close up. So our eyes are positioned perfectly on our face, right? Like some animals, their eyes are on the side, but our eyes, God created our eyes in the front of our face so that, like I said, we can see far away and we can see things close up. So when God made the eyes, he made them perfect just the way they are. Page 13. Let's talk about how God takes care of our eyes. So God knew that our eyes would be very important. So when he made them, he made a way to protect them. The first thing he did was he made our skull. That's your bone, the bones in your head. That's called your skull. So your skull, your eyes are inside of your skull. And that's because if someone throws a ball and they hit you, it won't hit your eye and knock your eye out, right? Instead, it'll hit the bone, which is the skull. And so the skull was created to protect the eyes. So the eyes are safe inside of your skull. That's why you can sometimes bump your head right? Your eye's not falling out, right? No. Anybody's eye fell out before? No. Okay, so your skull, though, it has your eyes are securely placed inside of your skull. And so God created that way for that reason, so that the eyes are protected inside of it. Next, we have our eyelids. This is your eyelid, this part of your eye here. Your eyelid can close and it can open, right? And it has that ability to be able to keep dust and other things from getting inside of your eyes. Sometimes the wind can blow and dust particles will flow with the wind. And if we see it, we can close our eyes and it prevents all of those things from getting inside of our eyes. So the eyelid was created to protect the eye from anything getting inside of the eye. So we have to thank the Lord for that, right? That he created our eyelids where we can just simply close our eyes to keep it safe from anything like dust or anything that may be outside. Okay. All right. Next, we have at the bottom our eyelashes. These are your eyelashes. See your eyelashes here? Everybody has eyelashes. So our eyelashes were also created to keep dust from getting to our eyes. Sometimes things will get trapped in the eyelash, but the eyelash is doing its job when that happens. The eyelash will catch whatever it is before it gets into your eye. Now, yes, sometimes things may get in our eye, but for the most part, the eyelash will try to catch the thing before it gets fully inside of your eye. So you see, we have our eyelashes and our eyelids, and we think, oh, it's just, no, God put it like that for a reason, to keep dust and all kinds of other things from getting inside of our eyes. Okay, 14. So do you know that we have tears in our eyes even when we're not crying? Right? So we usually know about papers. We usually know when we're crying, tears, water starts to flow out of our eyes. But sometimes, all the time actually, your eye has tears in it. That's why you can look at the eye and it looks wet. Well, that's because it keeps the tears in your eye, keeps the eye moist. The time when tears come out, it's because of emotion. Usually, maybe we're sad or we're angry or we're excited, whichever. That's when the tears will actually come out of your eyes. It's because of emotion. But for the most part, tears are in your eyes all the time. That's why your eyes are wet. Naturally, the tears in your eye keep it moist. It keeps it wet. That's so your eyes don't dry out. I'm not sure if you had dry eyes before, but it burns if your eyes are dry. They're usually red. And it doesn't feel good if they're dry. So the tears in your eye, the job is to keep your eye moist and to keep your eye wet so that your eye isn't dried out. Okay. And what helps to spread the tears? Every time we blink, right? Blinking is something we do naturally. We don't have to think about blinking, right? It just happens. The God created, just like our heart beats on its own, and we breathe on our own. Well, blinking is something that God created us to do on our own without thinking about it. The body just naturally does it. And every time you blink, what's happening is the tears in your eyes are spreading. Blinking is necessary. If we tried to keep our eyes open without blinking, again, they would dry out, they would burn. It wouldn't feel too good if our eyes did that. So the purpose of, the purpose of blinking is to spread tears, to keep your eyes moist, to keep your eyes wet so that they're not dried out. Like I said, dry eyes, they don't feel good. If your eye is dry, it will usually burn. It doesn't feel too good. So the purpose of blinking is to keep your eyes moist. It spreads the tears all throughout your eyes. So you see, those are just some of the things that God, when he made our eyes, he made it this way. And so, we may think, oh, wow. But no, the Lord made it to be that way. He made it where the eyes do some things like blinking. Could you stop calling me? Where the eyes will blink to spread tears throughout your eyes. Okay. All right. So that's our eyes, guys. So again, our eyes were created to help us see. Our eyes are probably one of the most important parts of us because a lot of what we do is because of sight, because we're able to see. So the Lord created our eyes, and when he made the eye, he gave us eyelids to protect things from getting in our eyes, eyelashes to protect things from getting in our eyes, even our eyebrows as well, y'all. They are also important as well in protecting your eyes. He made our skull, which protects the eyes. The eyes are inside of your skull. So if something hits you in the head, it's not knocking your eye out. Instead, Your skull will protect you and it from getting hit. The Lord also made our eyes to have tears to keep our eyes moist and wet. Every time we blink, we're spreading tears throughout our eyes. If we did not have tears, the eyes would be very, very dry. And we don't want to have dry eyes, right? No, it doesn't feel good. It actually burns a lot. Okay. All right. So that's your science lesson this week. Are we clear on science? Yeah. All right. Let's move on to social studies. You can get your social studies book. All right, so let's move on to our social studies. We will be on page 13. Social studies, page 13. Because you keep saying that. Start all over again. You won't hear when you keep saying that. All right. Is it in your book bag? You should have got it out. Go ahead. All right, so last week we started talking about the different symbols in America, right? A symbol is a reminder. A symbol is something that reminds us of something. Last week we talked about the American flag. That was a symbol. When we see the flag, we automatically think of our country, America. The American flag was created in 1777. It has 13 stripes, 7 red, 6 white. Every color has a meaning. It was created to represent our country. So let's look at 13. We'll talk about our next symbol on page 13, which is called the Great Seal. The Great Seal. All right, so the Great Seal is another symbol of our country. The front of the seal is used to stamp important laws of the United States that are signed by the president. So the Great Seal is used only by one person, and the one person that can use the Great Seal is the president. No one else can use the Great Seal. It is like his signature, his stamp. You know how we can sign our name on something? Well, when the president signs something, he signs it with this Great Seal. The Great Seal can be found not only on documents that the president will sign, but it's also on the $1 bill. Do you see it here on the bottom? It shows you how it's on a $1 bill. So if you ever get a $1 bill, you can look at it on the back. So the Great Seal represents the power of the United States government. That is because only the president uses the Great Seal. Since he is the only person that can use it, when he uses it, that shows that there is power, and that the president has said something, and that everyone should listen to whatever it is that he is saying. So the Great Seal is used by the president to sign things. We use our signature, our name, but the president will use this Great Seal right here to sign important documents. Okay, so if you look at it, it has the eagle on there. You can see the colors of the flag. He's holding arrows. He also has, there's words on there, e pluribus and it means one out of many. We'll actually see that on something else, but that's something to represent our country. So you could see, again, the flag. So that means the Great Seal is not only by the president, but it represents our country, America, as well. So who uses the Great Seal? President. And why does he use it? To do what? To stamp important things. So when he wants to sign something, he will use the Great Seal to sign it. So since we have the eagle on our seal, let's turn to page 14 and talk about the eagle and why America uses the eagle often. And a lot of things on the dollar bill, if you go back to that dollar bill, there is the Great Seal, but there's also an eagle as well. Okay, so let's look at 14 and let's talk about why America loves an eagle. All right, so let's talk about the bald eagle. So the eagle is the bird that represents America. America uses the eagle for a lot of different things. That is because the eagle is a symbol for strength and courage. Eagles are very strong birds. They're also very courageous birds as well. So the eagle is usually used to represent the strength and courage that America has. Just like the color red on the flag represents courage and strength, the eagle also represents courage and strength. Eagles are courageous and they're strong birds. They're usually alone. They're not afraid to be alone. Their wingspan is like about 8 feet, which is really, really wide. What I mean by that is when they open their wings, it's like 8 feet, which is taller than a man. Most of them, they can be like 8 pounds, which is pretty heavy for a bird. Most of the birds we know are usually like about this size, right? But eagles are huge. They are really big birds. And so that is why America chose the eagle as its bird to represent the country, because of how strong they are, how courageous they are, and because they're one of the largest birds. They're also fierce hunters. They can hunt for things. Fine, they can hunt for deer. Like they can really hunt well. So yeah, so the eagle represents America. That's why, again, you see it on the Great Seal. And amongst other things we'll talk about, the eagle represents America. So when it flies, its wingspan can be about 8 feet wide. That is taller than a man. And the bird weighs about 8 pounds, which, like I said, that's not common for a bird. Most birds are small. The eagle, though, is very large. So that is why America chose the eagle as its bird. Okay? So the eagle represents courage and strength. It also is 8 pounds and its wingspan is about 8 feet wide. It represents America and all that America wants to be as a strong and courageous country. All right. So those are the only two symbols. We were going to do the Liberty Bell, but I'm going to save it for next week. So the Great Seal is a symbol used by the president to sign important laws. We could see it on the dollar bill. It has the eagle on there. And why? Because the eagle represents courage and strength. America loves eagles. The eagle represents America. It represents the strong and courageous country that America is. Eagles, their wingspan is like 8 feet wide. They're also 8 pounds, which is pretty large for a bird. Okay. All right. So that's social studies. Any questions about the eagle? About the eagle. Okay.
These eagle wings are so they wide and it helps fly every time we fly.
Yep. Yeah, they can do one. They can do one like flap and like they can just soar. That's what eagles do. That's why they're pretty beautiful birds as well. Very strong, very big. Okay, so that's the bald eagle. That's America's bird. All right, so that's your science and social studies. Science, we're learning about our eyes. Social studies, we're covering the eagle. All right, go ahead and get out your spelling. That'll be our last lesson of the day. ASA page 10, list 5, page 10. All right, let's look at your spelling list this week. Remember, our spelling list covers AYA sounds. All right, let's begin. First word, day. D. Play.
Play.
P-R-A-Y.
Pray.
Stay. S-T-A-Y. Stay. Spray. S-P-R-A-Y. Spray. Clay. C-L-A-Y. Clay. Way. W. You can do the next one. Way. Straight. S-T-R-A-Y. Stray. K. Two. Y-O-U. U. All right, let's go ahead and go over your Greek and Latin. Remember, we have our Greek and Latin that are included with our list as well. Okay, so we have photos. Say that. Photos. Let's spell it. P-H-O-T-O-S. Photos, and it means light. Okay, your Latin word, sonos. S-O-N-U-S. Sonos, and it means sound. Remember, whenever you're writing your words, not only write your book words, but your Greek and Latin are included as well. That is what you're testing on Friday. How to spell the word and how to write what it means as well, okay? All right, so that covers all of our lessons this afternoon, Asa. It was good seeing you. I will see you on tomorrow. Have a good afternoon. You have any questions for me? No? All right, bye-bye.